Hello and welcome to 3D Money. Today's conversation is about why traditional financial planning is broke. I know that is a controversial statement, but what I want to do is unpack for you why I believe that is the case. And it really comes out of my experience as a financial advisor. So I came into the business in the mid-'80s and was a financial advisor for 25 years, worked with a lot of people, and kind of a progressive relationship, right? As I progressed and got more experience in the marketplace and working with people, my wisdom and my perspective grew. A number of years ago, there was a survey that was done by the Department of Health and Human Services on saving and accumulating money. And, it very simply put that there were only 4% of Americans that were financially independent at age 65. The rest of them were either dead or they were dead broke. And so only 4% of Americans were financially independent at age 65. So what I begin to do with my clients as a financial advisor is talk with them about what I call the financial home. Building your financial picture is kind of like building a financial home. And so when you're going to build a home, generally the first thing that you do is you're going to dig a foundation, right? So if this is the ground level and we're going to build a foundation, right? But in a financial home, your foundation really has two pieces to it. The first is asset protection. This would be things like protecting the things that you own. So it would be your home insurance, your car insurance, boats or four-wheelers or anything like that. That would be asset protection. And then the next part of the financial home's foundation is income protection. So income protection would be things that would be like, your medical insurance, your life insurance, disability. It would also include your wills and trusts or those types of things that, caring for minor kids or those types of things. That would all be in the income protection. Then as we move into the structure of the house, there's two rooms that I want to talk about. The first would be short-term savings. These would be, and we're going to say short-term savings as less than 5 years. 5 years or less. So this would include things like an emergency fund. This would include things, hey, I want to save for a vacation, or, I'm saving money for, my kids' graduation or something like that. Anything that's going to have a maturity of less than 5 years. So you want some money in short-term savings. And then there's long-term savings. And in the long-term savings, this would be things that, of course, is longer than 5 years. It might be I'm saving for a retirement home. It might be that I'm saving for college education, something that is going to mature longer than 5 years. Okay, and then the peak or the roof of this thing is our risk investments. So generally what we like to see is that when you have some of this money here is a little more safe, right? It's unfortunately what a lot of financial advisors do, and traditional financial planning really turns this upside down. And it starts you with, so imagine that your roof is down here. You're building your financial home based on risk investments. That's really what traditional financial planning tends to do. Now, I'm not saying they don't talk about this stuff, but I'm saying it's not foundational. It's not as foundational as what it should be. So financial planning, so I started doing, this financial home concept with my clients. And as I grew into something that's called financial needs analysis. And financial needs analysis is where you take and you have a computer program and you enter all of this information into the computer. How much are you going to need for college education? How much do you need if something happens to somebody? And you kind of go through how much do you need for retirement and how much do you have? How much have you saved so far? How much Social Security do we project that you're going to get? And so you kind of enter all of that information into a financial needs analysis program, and the computer spits out something, right? And it tells you that, this is what you need to do. And there's value in that. And so I'm going to kind of pause with the financial needs analysis, and we're going to come back to it. But then kind of the next evolution in that is full-blown financial planning. And full-blown financial planning is really just an advanced needs analysis. I spent 10 years in the first 10 years in my business of really being the go-to guy for 500 clients that they really viewed me that way, as their go-to guy for financial advice. So, the 10 years I'm doing I started with the financial home, and then I went to financial needs analysis, and I was moving towards the whole financial planning concept. But as I was growing with my clients, and my clients' lives were changing, I began to realize that the needs analysis that I had done for them really wasn't worth the paper that it was printed on, because they had changed. Their lives had changed. So we did this plan and it all made sense and all of that. And then their health changed, or their relationship changed, or interest rates changed, political environment or markets changed. And so I saw an ever increasing chasm between the plan that we had done for them and what their reality was. And so I began to wonder if I was asking the wrong question. This was about 10 or 12 years into my financial career. I began wondering if I was asking the wrong question. And the question we'd really been asking by financial needs analysis, financial planning, was, how much do you need? Ask the question, how much do you need? Well, how much are you going to need if this happens? Or how much are you going to need for this life event? And what I begin to think about is, I wonder if we could ask a different question. And the question that seemed to rise to the top is, instead of asking, how much do you need? What if we started asking, how much could you have? The reality is that there's a lot of things that I can't change for people that I work with from a financial standpoint. I mean, I couldn't change how much they were making, or I couldn't change, how much they were spending. There was a lot of things that I couldn't change. But what I could do is help them, talk them through, how do you maximize the efficiency of the money that you have? I began looking for a more comprehensive way to look at all aspects of my clients' money. And so what we did is we looked at kind of three categories, three file cabinets, if you will. Protection, the protection aspect of a person's, which would include, insurances and a lot of the stuff that was in here, protection. And then we went and looked at the savings. There's actually 9 file drawers in this file cabinet that have to do with the protection part. And then the savings part is there's actually 9 file drawers in the file cabinet of the savings component. And then there's actually 9 file cabinets in the growth. And so I really transitioned from a financial planning mindset to more what I would call financial engineering, really engineering your finances to maximize the efficiency. And that took me on a more productive path, and it really took my clients on a more productive path, because the reality is that our money has eroding factors to it. Our money is surrounded by eroding factors. I mean, taxes is probably the most obvious one. But then there's inflation. right? I mean, in August 15th of 1971, when President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, since then, it's all been about the printing of money and inflation, right? So everything has gone up since 1971 significantly. Look at what a house cost or what cars cost. And look what's happening even right now. I mean, if we fast forward to current, look at what's happening with the price of vehicles and chip shortages, and housing is exploding. That's an eroding factor on our money. And how about technological advances? All right. So when my wife and I were first raising our kids, when we started raising them, there was no video cameras. And then the first one came out, and it was a big thing that you said, I should have kept it so I could show it to you, but you've seen them before. They sit on your shoulder, and it's got a VHS tape that goes in and out, so you'd go to a program, and there'd be all these people, all these dads sitting there with this great big camera on their shoulders. And now it's, just a phone, right? I mean, it's just an amazing thing of how everything is getting smaller. But what happens is our computers and our phones and our cameras, they all have to be upgraded, right? I mean, I use this computer for, 3 or 4 years, and then you got to trade it in because it doesn't run the programs anymore. So there's technological advances. Those things are eroding factors. Well, how about health and longevity, right? There's some amazing longevity technology that's coming down the development path. And planned obsolescence, things that we have, that we own, that are getting older and wearing out. That could be as simple as vehicles and tires, but it also includes washing machines and refrigerators and all that kind of stuff. See, all these things are eroding factors on our money. And so the problem with traditional financial planning is it asks a question in a vacuum. How much do you need? Well, but that's a moving target. The better question to ask is, how much could I have? I'm suggesting that you should be asking a different question. Not how much do I need, but rather how much could I have? It's really about financial engineering versus financial planning. Financial engineering is a way better path. It's a way more comprehensive path than financial planning. So in 1987, somebody told me something that stuck with me. He said, Jeff, a man is worth about $8 an hour from the neck down. From the neck up, it's unlimited. And he said, you need to decide which end going forward you're going to earn your income with. That really stuck with me. The status quo is dangerous, right? And financial planning is status quo. Jim Rohn said that formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. So we would love to connect more with you on this subject. You can go to our website at 3dmoney.com for more information or to engage in a more in-depth conversation. Thanks for watching.